It's your boy Coach Defense here. Thanking you for supporting the channel. Become a lockdown defender by hitting that subscribe button if you haven't done so already. And if you're enjoying your time, hit that like button. Help us grow in the community. Now check out our latest video, leave a comment, and as always, you got to step up to lock it down. Let's take a ride out to 405. Let's talk about Chargers quarter. Chargers had a good week this week, winning in somewhat dramatic fashion at the end of the game to the Broncos. Went out to the Mile High and got a W against the Denver Broncos. So, we had a pretty decent week 6. We controlled the matchup for the most part, but I'm going to give you quickly my pros and cons of that game and what I think needs to improve and what was good and what we need to do going forward, because we got the Arizona Cardinals on Monday night, which is and will end up being an ESPN Plus game. It's going to be the first game that's going to be exclusively on NFL Plus, so that's going to be an interesting bit. I do have ESPN Plus on my own, so I won't miss the game, obviously, but it's different for it to be on that particular network and how they stream in 2 Monday night games. Interesting enough. But going to Arizona this week, so we'll talk about that as well. But getting into the actual game itself and talk about what we did and didn't do well. It was a 23-16 win. The Chargers were leading 23-0 going into the fourth quarter. They gave up 16 points in the fourth quarter, playing conservative defense, I guess you can say. Stymied the offense for the Denver Broncos for the most of the game, so that was a positive, obviously. But to start off the game, I think they had a pretty good philosophy. They did pretty well in their, I guess you can say, quote unquote, thought process coming through the bye week. They thought about some things. They realized there were some deficiencies in why they were attacking the other teams, and then other teams will probably be prepared for their normal modus operandi and normal MO, what they like to do as far as running the ball. So what they did was they came up with a reverse philosophy this particular week. They threw the ball a lot early on. Very, short intermediate passes, but they allowed Justin Herbert to throw the ball early. They didn't come out and be a completely, utterly run-heavy offense early, which was a change and a flip for what they had been doing in the first 4 games. So, that being said, that was definitely, I guess you can say, a kudos to the coaching staff to say that they were understanding that teams were going to be prepared for what they like to do. So they switched it up, and they switched it up the right way. So they came out, I believe Justin Herbert had like 11 pass attempts in the first quarter or the first couple of drives, something, staunchly different from what they normally like to do. So I like to see that, kind of got Quentin Johnson, Lamb McConkey involved early. Weird started the game because John Harbaugh went out with a arrhythmia in his heart. He had to go to the locker room. Lamb McConkey got knocked out briefly. Quentin Johnson got knocked out with an ankle. But everybody all ended up coming back. We didn't lose anybody, but even Rashawn Slater went out for a bit, but we didn't lose anybody to injury for the game, so that was positive. But I did like with the game plan and philosophy how Greg Roman and company decided to switch it up, decided to throw the ball a little bit more, kind of catch the Denver Broncos off guard, off kilter. Did help that Patrick Surtain got a concussion at the beginning of the game, so he was not out there to wreck the game for us. So that was a positive for us, a negative for the Broncos, obviously. Hopefully he comes back in short order. But yeah, so he went out. So it was, pretty much Riley Moss and company that were dealing with our receivers, and they did what they could. But and having a shutdown corner out there was definitely a quote unquote a disadvantage. But they did what they had to do. They dominated time of possession. I believe it was somewhere in the realm of like 25 minutes to 5 to 6 minutes, midway through the second quarter. So they were dominating time of possession. The first 4 possessions were scoring drives, 2 field goals, 2 touchdowns. Justin threw one. I think we ran one with JK, kicked a couple of field goals. Forced a few turnovers. We didn't turn the ball over. So they're all positive things that happened with the first 3 quarters of the game. Now, what bothered me about the game was that, although we have a pretty deep and talented pass rush room, we didn't get the Bo Nix a whole lot in this game. We had to dial up a couple of pressure to kind of make him throw the ball a little bit earlier than he had to, but we didn't get a lot of sacks. Khalil Mack didn't seem to getting home against that O-line. Tuli Tuipulotu was non-existent, so was Bud Dupree. Outside of one particular hit that he could have had on Bo Nix, but this quirky rule about how you can't put your body weight on quarterbacks is really allowing quarterbacks to extend plays. I'm very much against it because it's making defenders have to do certain things and whiff on a lot of sacks because they're fearing 15-yard penalties. You get a sack for 10 yards and there's a 15-yard penalty tacked onto it because you tackle him a certain way. So he completely, kind of tried to grab at him and, kind of whiffed at him. He kind of, he bent over and he kind of slipped out of the tackle because he couldn't hit him the way he wanted to because he came clean off the edge. So that was a whiff and he got around the edge and got a first down. Weird possession. But the pass rush in its entirety was very underwhelming for me. I think that needs to improve. Just from a base pass rush perspective, I mean, having three good edge rushers and Joey Bosa being hurt was a catalyst to this. But we had three good edge rushers on top of having Joey Bosa not be there, and we still weren't getting home like I like to. So that was a concern. I believe we were way too conservative in the second half with a play calling. And I think coaches in general do this. You get a big lead and you kind of go in the shell, and you don't call plays. They're going to be you kind of get too safe. You kind of allow for teams to kind of get back into the game. I think that's an issue. Didn't like that too much, but I tied in the wide receiver play was kind of underwhelming. Outside a couple of plays Lamb McConkey made. Quinn Johnson did make a one screen pass. He turned a loss into a almost a first down, which I appreciated. It was like he reversed field from the right side of the field, came all the way back left and got 8 yards. Was definitely a heads up play for him. Outside of that, it was pretty underwhelming from a tight end and wide receiver perspective, which goes back to my point I talked about last week in regards to how we should be aggressive in the trade market, because you just saw Amari Cooper get traded. You just saw Devontae Adams get traded. There are rumors about Mike Williams coming back. I don't like that, to be honest with you. I said on Twitter earlier, and I'll say it again. What Mike Williams gave us as a wide receiver while he was here was okay. But you have to understand what Mike Williams is. He's a 50-50 contested ball wide receiver. He's not, he doesn't have elite speed. He doesn't have elite route running ability. He doesn't have elite, nuances as far as getting open in zone and things like that. He only can play outside. He's injury prone. So spending draft capital to get him back, I wouldn't do that. I would look at other options. In particular, he said, DeAndre Hopkins might be on the block. He might be available. If the Bengals decide to move on and see Higgins early, could be an option for the trade deadline. I would look at options like that. Outside of Mike Williams, because again, he only gives you one thing, in my opinion. And on top of the fact that he's injury prone, having somebody that's injury prone that have to go up and get contested balls is not a good combination. Because we've seen him get hurt on multiple occasions, going up for a pass, coming down and getting hurt, and he's out for the season. So he went out with a back, he went out with ACL. I just don't think I think we've moved on from that for a good reason, and I don't think we should bring him back. I think we should look at other pastures, in my opinion. But I think we should try to look for another tight end that's a good pass catcher that can make waves in the pass game to give Justin a better target, and another better outside wide receiver. Because again, we're developing Ladd. Quentin still hasn't really hit his stride yet. If he's going to, if we had like an Amari Cooper or DeAndre Hopkins, somebody can win 1-on-1 in the pass game, we'd be better. We'd be better suited to win ball games and win them better and more. I guess you could say at a better margin. But yeah, I didn't like the tight end wide receiver play at all. I really feel like against pressure packages, the O-line struggled, and I think that's based upon our center play. Having a good center is a very underrated characteristic or trait to have in-house, because they can really support you as a quarterback. It's called out line protections and sliding protections and picking up pressures, because every time teams have blitzed us in the last 5 games, they've gotten to Justin and got to him quickly and caused problems in the backfield. So we have to address that. I think that's something we have to address either between this year and next year, and getting a competent center, above what Bradley Bozeman can give us, because he's a good run blocker, but he's limited as a leader and limited in pass pro. It just is what it is. And if you want proof of that, go back and look what Chris Jones did to me in the Chiefs game. That should be all the sample size you need to know. So I think that's underwhelming from that perspective. And I think teams are going to key on this going forward, that if you want to be able to disrupt the Chargers offense, you got to pressure Justin Herbert. So I think that you saw what the Chiefs did against us, you saw what Steelers did against us, and saw what the Broncos did against us, and we had really big time problems picking up pressure packages when they blitz 5 or more. So if you can't pick that up well, there's going to be an issue for us going forward, and that people are going to key on that. And like I said, defensive players and defensive coaches get paid too, so they can watch film and they're going to realize that that's going to be an issue for us, and they're going to key on that and they're going to use that. So I think that's something that we need to work on. But overall, outside of that, I think it was a good game. I think it's always a good victory to get against your opponent in the division. We are 2 up in the division, only 1 down. Lost to the Chiefs, beat the Raiders and the Broncos, so we got a pretty good division record going into the next part of the season. So I like where we're at. So we're going to Arizona. I think the keys to victory are pretty simple. Like I said, it's a Monday night game for us. So we got a little bit of extra rest on that. But I would say I think the biggest part that they need to understand about the Cardinals that they aren't who their record dictates. You can't underestimate them. They are a feisty team, and they're a team that can beat you if you let them. Kyler Murray is elusive. I'm not sure Marvin Harrison is going to play. He's out with a concussion right now, so it could be an interesting, dynamic as far as their weapons is concerned. But they are a feisty team, and they're decently coached. So I think that you can't go in there thinking that you're going to walk over them. I don't believe that's something you should anticipate. I think you should come to play, and I think that you understand that they're going to fight you. They're not going to give it. They're not going to walk into this game thinking you're going to beat them. Just going to give it to you. If you leave them hanging around, you leave them in the game, it could turn ugly for you. So first and foremost, the key to victory should be do not underestimate the Cardinals. If you underestimate the Cardinals, then it could be a problem for anybody that's facing them, including us. Also, I do think you should be prepared for any second and third down pressure packages, like I alluded to earlier. They're going to pressure you. They're going to blitz you. They're going to load the box up, and they're going to put people on the line and make you think they're coming at any given time. And they're going to make you figure it out and make you pick up those protections. If you can't, Justin's going to have a rough time throwing the ball yet again. And again, I'm not sure how many times you're going to play Superman and don't protect them properly before something goes bad. So we got to address that now to realize that that's going to be an issue, and people are going to utilize those pressure packages on second and third down when they have us backed up. When it's not second or third and short, when we can run the ball. Also, be prepared for loaded boxes. They're going to try to stop and run. Most people are going to do that. They saw what we did against the Broncos, so they're probably going to be more keen to the idea that we want to throw more. But again, when we come out in 21, 22 personnel, they're going to load the box. Guaranteed. 8 the box, whatever. They're going to load the box, and we're going to have to execute against it. So I think that's going to be something we should look forward to them and anybody else we face going forward. Next up is have disciplined pass rush lanes against Kyler Murray, because he's one of the best, if not, he's one of the best in the league, top 5 at extending plays. He's very quick and elusive out of the pocket. He's very fast with a strong arm. So if you get him backed up and you get him cornered, in 5 to 10 to 12 yards in the backfield, he still can complete a pass. Let's not misinterpret that. He can complete a pass with his arm. So keep him in the pocket, keep him corralled, and try to get him on the ground. That's the best thing you can do. Kind of must rush him and keep him in the pocket and make him throw the ball. If you can do that, I think we'd be in good shape. And again, that goes back to his targeting. I think Trey McBride, if you keep bodies around him, because he's going to be the number 1 guy, Marvin Harrison is not there. I think that he's going to target Trey McBride more if Marvin Harrison not playing. If Marvin Harrison plays, then he's going to be his number 1 target, and Trey McBride is going to be a secondary guy. But much like what Travis Kelce can do, Trey McBride can kill you if you leave him open. So I think that you have to keep bodies around him and stick with what you do best. Winning the time of possession, dominating the run game, and build on your passing game. If you do those things and do those keys, I think we have to be in pretty good shape to win the game. I think we have more talent on our side of the ball. Guys are getting healthy. Hopefully we get, the rest of the guys that aren't in the game right now back in a couple of weeks. And I think he should be all right. Hit the stride in the next, 2 to 3 weeks. But, don't underestimate this team. Keep Kyler Murray in the pocket and run your offense the way you want to run it. I think we'll be in good shape. So that's pretty much it. I think we pretty much, solid with that particular, mindset, and we can get that done. I think we'll be 2-0 after the bye. But Coach Gray, you got anything to add, or any questions you want to ask about this breakdown before we get to games of the week?
No, you spot on. You broke it down well, and like you said, stick to winning. And I'm just happy to see that the heart issue wasn't anything overly dramatic. So
Yeah.
Look forward to seeing, and like you said, You know, it helped out that there were some key injuries, but you know, I think the blueprint for them is here now. We're gonna run. You know, y'all gonna run the football. You're gonna limit Herbert from putting the football into dangerous situations and lean on your defense. So spot on.
Okay. All right, so we'll see. You know, we'll recap this game next week, and we'll see how things go. But I'm expecting the victory. You know, we'll just to make sure we handle business and don't shoot ourselves in the foot. I think we'll be in good shape. All right.